Hello everybody, I'm George Burchell. There's two Georges here at Team Epiphan, and I'm in our booth in Las Vegas at Infocom. And like we have been doing all week, we're streaming live from the floor here. So we're showing off some of the great technology about how we can send really high quality video up to the web and do it over like what is really poor internet here. So we have been having guests in all week, and once again we have another great guest to talk to today, and we're very excited to see our friend who's not here right now. So we got a little wrinkle here going on, folks. We'd love it if our friend Curtis Judd was in this chair here, but instead Curtis is coming to us from his studio in Utah. And we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm trying to do here, right here with people, and bringing in remote guests and get into all that business. So thanks so much for joining us, Curtis.
George, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Really excited about this.
Awesome. We're always excited to talk to you because there's a lot of overlap between what we're trying to do as a company and promote how live streaming can help businesses, and how the change in live streaming, how remote, multi-site streaming is becoming a really big thing. And you work in a corporate setting doing that for your job, and then you also have this really popular YouTube presence, and you seem, I don't know how you sleep at night because you do a lot of video content, but maybe you can tell us about what your day job, what are they asking you for? Because I know they're doing some pretty neat stuff, or you're doing some pretty neat stuff for them around remote video.
Yeah, you bet. So I work with a company called Webflow, and Webflow is a software as a service company. We provide tools for helping people to build sites for the web. It's some of our competitors are companies like, you've heard of Wix or Squarespace, sure, and things of that nature. Yeah. And instead of, so they generally have something that's kind of a here's a template or a series of templates you can use to build a website. Webflow instead is actually a canvas that you can build your own website from the ground up. And so one of the things that we do is we have a weekly live stream, and our production studio is actually based in San Francisco. Our primary host is based in San Diego. He has a studio set up there. And now we're in the process literally today of setting up another studio in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for one of our other hosts. And we also have guests come in from around the world. So a few weeks ago we had a guest from New Zealand.
Are all these studios talking to, like, on the same broadcast at the same time?
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. So our producers are in San Francisco producing the show. Our host is in his studio in San Diego, and then our guests are wherever else in the world. So yes, they're all in the same stream.
So
and we're trying.
Did they ask? I keep cutting you off because I'm so curious about this. Did they ask you about that, or was it you were saying, "Oh, we could do this"? Like, did you have to convince them that they should do it, or did they have that idea and you just helped them execute on that?
That was the business. That was their idea, and so my job was
Amazing.
to figure out how to make it happen. Yeah.
It's just very progressive. A lot of people don't, I'm sure you've, in your career, like, they're not always thinking that progressively about how, we don't have to be in the same room together. We can still make great video content. So it's nice that you're very fortunate to work for a company that thinks on that scale.
Absolutely, yeah. And the quality of production is really important for the team as well, because our primary customers are web designers. They care about appearances. They care about the overall effect of the product. And so bringing in quality was really, really important to us. And of course, there are lots of technologies out there you can try and make work, but having something that was really reliable, really high quality in terms of the video was super important to us. So that's one of the challenges that we're still sorting out, to be honest. But in terms of the overall product itself, like the live stream itself, the value that it brings and the power of bringing people, designers from around the world together to be able to talk in real time and stream that out to a community is just super powerful.
And are you seeing it grow as well? So I don't know, you're about a year into this or so, right?
Yeah, not even a year, and yeah, it's absolutely growing. So it was actually kind of a reboot. So we had some streams that we're having before, and before it was our host Nelson, who is an amazing on-screen personality. He would just stream from his home when he had time. Turn on OBS, connect his webcam, connect a USB mic, and stream, and kind of built that up over a couple of years or several years. But then the business was ready to take it to the next level, to really kind of be able to bring in more remote guests and do some things that we really couldn't do before. So that's kind of the evolution.
It's exciting, isn't it? Or are you still excited about it? I get excited about it, maybe because I'm in a place where we're all talking about it, but you do it every day.
I'm still got butterflies in my stomach every time right before we go live, trying to figure out and make sure everything is working. But yeah, it's super exciting. We love doing it. The team does an amazing job. I work with several incredible producers that really pour themselves into it and put together great shows. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what are the sticky spots? Like what parts of your stack that you've put together to make all this work? What are the weak points that you get most nervous about?
Oh, it's definitely bringing in the remote guests and knowing that we're going to have reliable connection to them and a reliable stream of both video and audio, and actually their screens as well. So if they're going to be doing some sort of software demo, we need to be able to see their screens and we'll be able to switch between all of those. And that's the biggest challenge that we've had. And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you and the team at Epiphan, because you have this exciting new thing that you're calling Epiphan Unify that I can't wait to get my hands on, to be honest.
Well, I wish you were here to actually have your hands on it, but the truth is, you don't need to be here to get your hands on it. I mean, what we're doing here in this show floor, we have cameras and our Pearl devices sending video up. That's not Unify. That's nothing outside of standard hardware setups in any place where you're making video content. So the fact that you can log into Unify, you could literally be using it right now. You could be doing the switching of this broadcast. We have a producer who's in Ottawa, Canada right now. I'm in Las Vegas, you're in Utah. He's doing all that switching. So effectively, after this call, you could be in there logged in and bringing in those different screen shares and bringing in those different guests into the broadcast and doing whatever you want with it. So I do hope you get your hands in there. I think you've been invited to try it out because it is still a beta mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so early stages, but I'm super excited to try it out. I've been using Epiphan hardware for a couple of years now and been super excited with the results. We're really happy with the results. My weekly live stream here on the Judd audio channel, we use a Pearl Nano as the device that actually does the encoding and sends the stream up to YouTube. Never had any sort of glitches with it. It's just been super reliable, high quality, just something that I know I can turn it on and be ready to go within just a few seconds. So it's been really, really great.
That's great. I'm glad that it's been a nice experience for you here. And we, to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, these shows are terrifying. Like we come here and we don't know what kind of internet we're going to get. And there's so many things that can go wrong. You ship, a mountain of equipment down here in crates and hope it's all there and not destroyed when you get there. We still have to run out to stores and buy little things and put it off, and you're here for 3 days trying to make it work. So, but we have done, I don't know, maybe 30 of these interviews that we're streaming up to our YouTube channel, and unbelievably, I think they've all worked. Maybe I shouldn't be so surprised, shouldn't act so surprised, but just we're trying new things. We're at a very unfamiliar place. I don't do this for a living, right? We're busy doing other things, so we've been pretty happy that the week has turned out well for us. So we're like one of your successful remote guests in this case.
Absolutely, and the thing that's interesting too is that we, the hardware solutions. One of the challenges with Webflow as well is that we. With the hardware solutions, we could do something like this today, even without Unify. We could have a Pearl Nano sent out to each of the remote guests and kind of collect those SRT streams without getting too into the technology weeds, but send those remote streams into our headquarters where we do our production, combine those, and then stream out with the existing Epiphan hardware. One of the things that our IT team asked us, though, is because they're, obviously they're very focused on ensuring not only providing all the services that we need, but also ensuring all of the security compliance that we have to adhere to. They were like, well, could you just find a cloud solution of some sort instead?
That's so interesting, yeah. I usually have
Yeah.
to make that case for other people who, like, especially traditionalists who have done video locally with devices and buttons and stuff. They say, I don't really need cloud, I just want to do it here on my device. But as soon as you go multi-site, there's really no reason you want to bring it back down from the internet into another piece of hardware and then back up to the internet again. Like, it's not, there's no logic to it. And you're the perfect case for that. Like, you're already putting it up to the cloud. Why not just do it there? You have all the processing power of the cloud. It's going to be way more powerful, and honestly, there's just that many few more points of failure, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's another thing, you distribute. You distribute the potential risk, because if I had all of those remote guests coming into my San Francisco production facility, you know, that's the trick. You know, what happens if anything happens to my connection there, or, you know, we have a power outage or whatever, it's over, it's done. If I've got it on the cloud, you know, we've got a lot of redundancy built in, but also if one of my streams falls out, the show can go on. I can keep going. You know, it's not going to be, you know, we'll lose a guest, but we can recover from that. So it just puts us in a better spot.
Nice. So another thing that you know you might be excited about with your clients is that we're integrating Microsoft Teams into our platform as well. Not exactly integrating the Teams into the platform, but we're going to allow you to be able to pull a Microsoft Teams guest. So if you have a Teams meeting and you've got 4 guests, you can say, oh, I want this person here in the top left corner, I want their video feed in HD, you know, 1080p quality with isolated audio. I want to bring them into my production. And the beauty of that is, you know, you've dealt with this, like you talked about remote guests being the hardest part of or the most point of failure in your job. Then if you can just tell them to join a Teams call, they can still do their screen sharing. You know, they're going to use a tool that they know already, so they're familiar with it. So we're getting a tremendous amount of interest at this show, particularly because it's kind of an IT Teams-oriented show. So stay tuned for that, because I think that's something you'll want to play with.
Absolutely, yeah. Interested to take a look at that as well, for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, we're here at a show where there's all this new technology being talked about, and we've talked about what we're doing in the cloud and what we're SRT and Teams and all these things, but what else is on your bucket list? Like, what's the other parts of your world that you're curious about solving, or just other technology that you want to bring in to do what you do?
I think just kind of carrying that same thing over to my YouTube channels as well. So we do a weekly live stream, and one of the things we've really enjoyed is recently we had what we're calling a this is very nerdy, so bear with me here, but we did a dialogue edit mix master challenge. So the idea is that with the live streams weekly, what we're doing is we're really trying to help people up their game as far as audio production for either video on demand, live streaming, podcasting, any of those types of voiceover, any of those types of things. And so we actually had multiple guests on to a stream recently who are professionals in the industry. We had a voiceover artist, we had a professional boom operator that works on a bunch of Hollywood films and TV shows, we had a dialogue editor from Nickelodeon, we had another fellow who is a musician and reviews a bunch of audio gear. But what happened was that the audience was able to submit some of their audio recordings and their mixes, and then the professionals were able to review them and you know, just kind of give some of their feedback and advice on how to make their mixes even better. And so for me, the challenge is going to be bringing all of that group in. And of course, there are some online platforms you can do that already to some extent, but we just keep running into some various limitations that have really kind of tripped us up. So for example, the whole process of, you know, just being able to play back those audio samples during the show has been, that's been a challenge in and of itself, like just little things like that. And so having something that has a lot more flexibility and also removes some of the risk of, again, you know, there are setups where I could have all of them feed into my network here. I'm operating out of my home for these streams. That just seems too risky to me. Like, I'd just prefer to avoid all of that risk altogether. But that's my next step here. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it's great that you provide that service to all these people who are trying to figure out their own audio challenges. So that's a nice community aspect of your channel on YouTube, which is something I appreciate. We could have used you here
Monday, when we were trying to figure out the noise floor and this is an incredibly challenging place to capture audio, and as you can imagine, we set up to do our first interview, and I kid you not, a marching band walked behind me here. Then the marching band goes left and walks behind the other side of our booth. Then they make another left and they come across our booth this way. Then like on and on, like it was
unreal.
It was too unreal to not like find it ridiculous. So I'll remember that one. But yeah, like just getting good audio in a place like this is a very basic but hard situation. These little mics in a noisy place. So.
It's tough. It's tough. I have the utmost respect for anyone who can pull that off. So whoever is doing your audio, please send them my compliments for sure. You're coming through loud and clear.
That is our producer Jeremy, who has been staying up late nights to make all of this come together. So we're very lucky to have him. Here we go. Yeah, he's on the stream there. That's great. So Jeremy's in Ottawa and burning the midnight oil to make all this come together. And I think, in fact, you are our last interview for the week, so we'll get to say goodbye to Jeremy and you at the same time. So you're both going to get to go, which is great. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for letting me come on the stream. I'm super excited to try out Unify and make our streams even better based on the work that you all are doing over there. So thanks so much to the Epiphan team.
Well, thank you, Curtis. We'll get you back on our YouTube show. Maybe we'll do a live show together on your show. I don't know. We'll do something. We'll actually show the people a little bit more about what Unify is too, or we can demo it and stuff. I'm sure, hopefully, some of your audience is interested in seeing that. So thanks for joining us, and thanks to everybody who's been watching today.